Hi there, Comic Clan. Welcome to the first episode of the Comics and the Cross podcast, the greatest streamers you have never heard of. I am one of your hosts for today, Cross. Some of you may know me already. Someone you may not be as familiar with is my co-host to my right, left, whatever side that is. This is Nitro. Nitro, say hi to the lovely people.
What's up, everybody?
We are so glad you can be here to join us. Oh, thank you. Infinity Bros in the chat saying sick opening. Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it. So yeah, we are here for our first episode of our podcast. It's been a long time coming, as some of you know. We've only been, talking about it since the end of 2018. So let me just get a little bit of housekeeping out the road first before we get into some conversation. So I'm going to throw it up in the chat. We do have an official sponsor that I want to mention. Let me put them in chat as well. You can see them above us here. Gamer Grind Co., the #1 coffee for gamers, are an official sponsor for the channel, so a big massive shout out to them. Honestly, drinking their stuff right now. Got it right on hand, so definitely they are worth checking out. If you follow that link, you can get yourself some amazing coffee, and you'll also help out the channel and give us some support as well, so thank you so much. No worries, guys. Yeah, Infinity Bros are saying that they're in a meeting, so no problem. By all means, guys, check it out. We're going to try and get it uploaded on YouTube as well, so definitely come and check us out for that. I think we have our first bit of technical difficulty. Are you still with us, Nitro? No, yep. I think we've got our first bit of technical difficulty. Give me one sec. To just check my settings. Yep, his video has disappeared, so well, hopefully he'll reconnect. I'll keep trying to keep the conversation going nonetheless. We are going to be, and this is our first episode, we are going to be talking about the topic of nostalgia trip and going into a little bit of what got us into comic books in the first place. So we're definitely going to be checking that out. Give me one sec. I want to try and get Nitro back. Alright, in one sec. We have lost the call. Hopefully you can still hear me. Give me one sec and I'll...
Yo.
Hey, he's back. Well,
yeah, sorry. So there's going to be some technical difficulties as we iron this out for the first couple times. So appreciate it.
Oh, yep, you're jumping a little bit still. Yeah, so we've been having some issues with Discord for some reason. Like the feeds aren't working correctly, and we seem to be kind of jumpy and losing track of each other. So, we've got some kinks to iron out, definitely. But hey, it's episode 1. We kind of the fact that we're up and running at all, we're kind of grateful for, and we'll take it. So yeah, as I was saying, we're going to be talking about our topic for the day, or the name of the podcast for today is going to be Nostalgia Trip. As we're going to be talking about some of our influences and what got us into comic books, what made us love comics in the first place, and why the heck we even care about making a podcast talking about it. But before we do that, I did want to jump into a couple of news points, just for a bit of discussion. Alright, so what's been getting batted around on the internet lately has been a lot of talk about the MCU and about what the worst movie in the MCU actually is. There's been a lot of conversation about this, and we just talked about this a little bit as well. And the big discussion is whether or not it's Iron Man 3 or Thor the Dark World.
Obviously, Thor.
Oh.
Yeah. So I personally like Thor the Dark World. I know we talked about it a little bit, and I know it is, like you said, it is kind of boring a little bit. But I think I prefer the more serious Thor, like a more serious tone Thor. Like I'm not honestly a huge fan of Ragnarok, and I know a lot of people are.
Wow. Controversial opinions in the first episode. They are like one of the most beloved MCU movies right now.
I mean, I bought it because I wanted to support, Marvel and all that stuff. But I wasn't a huge fan of Iron Man 3 at all. Um, I felt like obviously he wasn't in the suit for most of the movie, and this suit is why we watch him, right? Obviously, took awesome turns to Iron Man, and let's be real. I feel like he wasn't in the suit most of the time. I just wasn't a huge fan of the story in Iron Man 3. I wasn't a fan of Pepper at the end, um, getting the suit, and I don't know. That just didn't feel right to me. And then of course, and I know we differ on this, but not a huge fan of a Walmart Mandarin. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's the thing. Is like, and I know I'm completely on my own in this one. I know that everybody hates Trevor Slattery and hates the Mandarin reveal. And don't get me wrong, Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin at the first half of that movie is amazing. He plays it so well. But at the same time, like, that reveal and just how ridiculous and comedic he is, it's that stupid sort of comic book humor that I can't help but think that's kind of amazing. Don't get me wrong though, the reveal of, like, what's his face, Killian being the, like, I'm the real Mandarin thing. No, you're not. Sit down. It's like, no, you're not. It's like, that's the thing. I like the Trevor Slattery thing out of context. I like it as just a stupid, funny scene. But I totally get that within the context of the movie, how ridiculous it is and how much it ruins, like, the Mandarin. Don't get me wrong, I totally get that. I 100% get that.
That's how, like, it's cool. Like, I can definitely appreciate it in that way, but, like, within the context of a movie, like, you're setting up this huge villain, and this villain that people have been waiting for years, and it's like, they totally dropped the ball.
But see, that exact reason is why I have an issue with the Dark World, though. Because Malekith the Dark Elf is one of Thor's biggest villains. We've been waiting years for a villain like this to hit the screen, and you even get an amazing actor like Christopher Eccleston to play him, and he's so forgettable.
To be fair, I don't know a lot about Thor, like, because I wasn't really into Thor growing up, it kind of. But yeah, I definitely felt like the villain, that whole side of Thor: The Dark World, was bad.
Oh.
But that being said, that showed you how much I don't like Iron Man 3.
No worries. Hold on, I'm getting a message from one of our guys in the chat saying that we're having trouble hearing you. If it says audio cutting out, that is something we are dealing with. We're going to need to look into. But I am turning his volume up a little bit in his mic, so hopefully you can hear him. If there's any other issues, just let us know, guys. Thank you for keeping us up to date in the chat and how it's sounding in your end, because obviously we can't hear exactly what you're hearing. But yeah, no, it's like I think that's the thing. Both of them really dropped the ball on the villains. Oh. The Infinity Bros are saying they're loving your Spidey themed stuff, Nitro. Yeah, in case you can't tell, Nitro's a massive Spider-Man fan. Oh, I think I lost Nitro again. Oh, can I hear you?
Yo, I'm back. Sorry.
There we go. Yeah, so the Infinity Bros are saying that they like your Spidey themed stuff going on.
You like it? Dude, I gotta show you. Hold on.
Oh no, here we go.
Alright, so we had a conversation when we first met about Funko Pops. At the time, I didn't have any, and I was like, dude, there's no way I can do that. If I buy one, it's over. I'm just gonna keep collecting them. It's gonna be over for me. Life will be over. I will have no money ever again.
Yep, I remember this conversation.
Yeah.
I remember it full well.
I think I have like 30 of them now.
I was going to say, like, yeah, I had a bunch of them. Oh, that's a cool one.
This is my favorite one. I got this for Christmas. It's Spider-Man Hulk. I don't know. I really like it.
I had more Pops than you, like, when we first started talking, before you bought any, and your, like, collection now trounces mine. I have got so few. You can see a few of them on the shelves behind me, and I've got a bunch of the mini ones from my advent calendar at Christmas, but...
Hey, can you guys hear me better?
I can hear him now. He's super quiet now still. Let me try turning him up again. Alright. Okay, well,
I'll try to get closer to the mic.
Alright, I put his mic up at full. I don't think I can actually get the mic higher than it is, so...
Let me check on my end. Hold on.
So maybe if I drop mine a little bit, it'll.
Hey,
What's the
let me know how it is now.
Yeah,
I turned the volume up, output volume.
awesome. Maybe that'll help. Thanks, Isaac, for keeping us up to date on that, man. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks.
it. And big shout out, by the way, to the Infinity Bros, popping up in the chat. Isaac and the guys over there, they have been a massive support for us in
Yeah,
the years that we've been preparing comics in the cross. They do a podcast themselves and they do some streaming on Twitch. So I want to give a massive shout out to them because you guys you've shown so much love to us, and
yeah.
we really
Appreciate.
appreciate it, guys. We really do. All right, so yeah, I think when it comes to the worst MCU movie, it comes down to personal preference, and
Yeah.
I think there's definite points of like Iron Man 3 being the worst and Thor: The Dark World being the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're at a stalemate between the two of us. I think you're saying that Iron Man 3 is the worst. I would say Thor: The Dark World's the worst.
Yeah, so it's been a while. Just full transparency since I've seen both of them. I mean, I own both of them,
Yeah, that doesn't
but
mean you
I
watch them a
seem to
lot.
remember, like you have, I seem to remember in For the Dark World, you had there were aspects to the story that I really liked that I see from Thor before. Like I think his mom died, killed, like tension between him and his brother, and I really like that. That being said, I definitely um, the villain was awful.
Oh yeah,
But
100%.
I thought some of the I thought some of the set pieces and some of the action,
Thank
some of
you.
that were
Sorry, I
just
just got a sorry a comment just came up on there. I just really want to give it a shout out. Brother Burr saying you're the real MVPs. Thank you so much, man, for that. Thank you, man. We appreciate the love. We really do. We are 100% starting out in this, and we know there's going to be kinks in the road. But thank you so much for all the support.
Hey, just for people who are listening, and can you hear both of us? Okay, is my volume coming in a bit better?
Yeah, we're having issues with this volume. Just double checking. We're still getting glitches on the video, and it's cutting and jumping every so often. We're aware of that. Unfortunately, being live in the chat, there's nothing much we can do at this time except kind of just wait it out. But we'll definitely need to work on that and see if there's a way we can tighten it up.
Yep.
All right, so next big bit of news I definitely wanted to jump into because this is starting to get talked about a lot as a possibility. I don't know. We don't know if it's going to be official or not yet, but apparently, in the Eternals movie, there's rumors that we could see Namor, the Submariner, appear.
Dude.
Oh, thank you so much, Bob Thracer, for that follow. Thank you for welcome to the Comic Clan, my friend. Thank you for coming and joining us. Oh, thank you, brother Burr. He says we're all good now. That everything sounds good. Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I
But
think we're
yeah,
fine.
so apparently in the Eternals movie, there's talk of a sunken city that's going to be appearing, which has
Oh
led people
shoot.
to believe that this is going to be Atlantis. And the appearance of Namor the Submariner in the MCU, this is going to be his big introduction.
Yeah.
I did read an article today, though, on it that was saying that that might not be a good idea. Because, first of all, Namor has got no connection to the Eternals at all. Like, none.
Yeah.
He's a villain for the Fantastic Four. He's a mutant, so he's got a connection to the X-Men. He's fought alongside Captain America, so there's a connection to the Avengers. He was part of the original Invaders team and stuff in the comics. But there is like no connection at all to the Eternals.
Yo.
Oh, no worry, Bob. You're here in plenty of time, man. We're glad you could be here. But yeah, have I lost Nitro again? Yeah, so for anyone joining us, we're having some technical difficulties with the chat. It keeps kind of freezing on Nitro side for some reason with what we're streaming. So I'm kind of at the point of waiting it out and hoping he pops back up eventually. So yeah, we'll need to definitely look into that. So until he pops back in to the chat, yeah, clicking things. So yeah, is Atlantis going to appear? There is the possibility of Atlantis appearing in the Eternals movie, but what are they called again? It's not the Degenerates or something like that. I want to get their name correctly because there's a group that appear that are like another ones that are known alongside the Eternals. that also could be the ones from a sunken city, and it could have nothing to do with Atlantis at all. Oh, you back?
Yo. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, guys.
I love it. You disappear for like 5 minutes, and then it just pops back up and starts working again.
I know. I don't know.
If anyone's got any tips, by the way, on how to get the Discord video call to not do that, let us know.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Say that again?
So I'm just saying in the chat, yeah, so like if anyone's got any tips on how to kind of get our Discord to not keep kind of cutting like that, that would be, we're all open to suggestions, by the way, because we are still learning this stuff ourselves. So, but yeah, so the article I was reading today, talking about. Oh, hey, Bat, how you doing? Doing good, man. Glad you could come here and join the stream. I'm so glad to see you here. So good. Yeah. So there's another group that I feared alongside the Eternals. I've completely forgotten the name of them, and I can't find the article now. I should have written it down. But apparently they're the ones that rise up against the Eternals, and their city ends up getting sunken. So there's a possibility of like that's the group that it's talking about, and that would make a lot more sense in terms of the Eternals movie. So right now we're going to have to just kind of wait. Right now we're going to have to wait and see how we get the Eternals movie, if we end up getting it in the cinema, or if it gets pushed back or dropped in video on demand or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so that's one of the big rumors out there. So what do you think about that? Like Atlantis possibly appearing in the Eternals movie?
So I had been recently getting into Jonathan Hickman's Infinity and Avengers runs. Yeah, so I got to the part where basically Black Panther or Wakanda and Atlantis just go off on each other.
Yes.
So, and I'd heard rumors of Namor being introduced in the Black Panther sequel, and I think they not so subtly hinted at it in Endgame.
Yeah, there's kind of some
we were on
hints.
the video chat, and they were like, "Yeah, there's earthquakes underneath or whatever."
Yeah, they didn't exactly like conceal that one as a possibility, you know. Oh, you still there? So yeah, if anyone's got ideas on what to do apart from Discord for a video chat to do the podcast, please by all means let me know.
Yeah, it keeps cutting in and out. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, because we're up for anything. If there's another thing that works better, let us know. Apparently Discord was the better option to go with, but I'm questioning that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you were
But
saying
yeah,
reading.
I didn't catch what you just said, but basically, I think introducing him in a Black Panther is more beneficial than introducing him in an Eternals movie. Because, like you said, I don't know a whole lot about the Eternals, but my understanding is they have nothing to do with anymore.
Yeah, I think Black Panther makes a lot of sense for him to appear, and I think that's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
So Bob Thracer's saying we could just try Skype for it. So yeah, maybe for next week we'll try Skype and see if that runs a bit better.
Yeah, that works.
Because the reason I went with Discord is I heard that Skype was pretty dodgy, but like it doesn't look like Discord is going to be any better. So yeah, we'll just need to try Skype. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to do him though. Because they're going to have to differentiate him from Aquaman, like dramatically.
Yeah, well, that's it. Aquaman's already kind of dropped, and there's an Aquaman sequel coming, so it's like they have to show us why he's different than that. But they also have to be careful as well, because not only in that, this is going to be our first introduction to a mutant.
Yeah, I think they need to like physically alter his appearance so he doesn't look human. No, I'm not saying like he needs to look like a fish or anything, but like they need to like physically alter his characteristics so he looks
not like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, like not like a dude who walked out of a photo shoot. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like even like what type of actor that they would hire or a type of actress that they would hire. They just need to. I think they just need to be very careful and not distance themselves from Aquaman just to distance. Or in addition to Aquaman.
Sorry, you said that bit again. You were cutting out a little bit, bro. You said you need to distance himself from Aquaman, not just to distance himself, but and then it kind of went a bit.
Yeah, Uh, yeah, I was just saying they just need to show that they need to differentiate them, both of them, Aquaman and Namor, not just to differentiate them, but just to show that there's value in both of them, but they're completely different.
Yeah, definitely. And big Vikes fan saying agreed. Touch it up. I'm assuming he's talking about like change name or touch him up a little and change him for it to differentiate him. I think they kind of have to at this point. Because like Namor's attitude is definitely going to be different from Aquaman's, that's no doubt. But they have to do something physically as well.
I would, yeah, I would really like to see an Asian character, honestly,
That'd be
play
interesting.
Namor. I think that would be because there's not a whole lot of Asian actors or whatever in the MCU.
Yeah. Although they are now bringing out was it Shang-Chi and the
Yeah, yeah,
Ten
yeah.
Rings, and I'm like I know like they've touched on a lot of like lesser properties and trying to make them big, and they've had success with that in the past, like Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I am sorry, I don't care about Shang-Chi, like the mystical stuff like that and the martial arts side of it. I'm
Yeah,
like, that's not the sort of comics I'm into. I've got nothing against them doing an Asian character, Asian main movie.
yeah,
I'm like, I'm all for that. I just Shang-Chi is never a character I've ever cared about at any point.
yeah. Well, to be fair though, I felt that way about a handful of characters that they made movies about, and they turned out.
Oh, I think we
I
lost it.
didn't really even know who they were before the movie came out,
Yeah,
and then the movie.
they have had some success with that before, I guess.
So
Yeah, I guess it just depends. Like, I think that's the thing now that we've gotten past a lot of the main like Marvel heroes, like some of the names that people might know, like Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, and
yeah,
we're moving into other characters. It's like you're now getting to the point of like, yeah, we have some big names like Black Panther and Spider Man, and
hmm,
I thank you so much, Bat4513 for that follow. Greatly appreciated. Welcome to the Comic Clan. Um, but yeah, it's like it's one of those things of we're moving past those characters, and yeah, a lot of those characters, yeah, I mean, people forget that like before 2008, no one knew who Iron Man was. No one cared about Thor. It's like, um, wow, that was an
yeah.
attractive face for that to freeze on. Your video frozen like the most attractive look there. That was perfect. Um,
Yeah,
but
they made the Avengers with their B team, basically.
yeah, well, that's it. They'd lost. They didn't have X-Men. They didn't have Spider-Man, like two of their biggest sellers, like in
Yeah,
history. And they managed to get people to care. Like no one cared about Thor
yeah.
beforehand. No one cared about Thor comics before Jason Aaron started writing it in 2012.
I mean,
It's like
other than the Winter Soldier run, nobody really cared about Captain America really either.
yeah. I mean, I'll be
If we're gonna
honest.
be
Like,
honest.
I'll be honest. Like, I like the Thor comics now. Like Jason Aaron's run and now Donny Cates' run are awesome. I still am not a massive fan of like reading a Captain America comic. I
Yeah,
can't get into it that much. I'm just
yeah.
I
I want to
love
see the
I
Illuminati.
love Captain America in the movies, but
Yeah, dude, I want to see the Illuminati. So, I mean, you have Black Panther, you have Doctor Strange, the X Men.
oh well,
They're gonna
wait.
introduce Namor.
Well, that's it. We've got Namor, and we've got the X-Men, and we've got Fantastic Four. It's like we're well on our way to that now.
Yeah,
We can.
exactly.
I mean, they have to do the Illuminati at some point, and um. All right, so, but yeah, let's jump on to our next topic just to kind of keep things rolling a little bit. So this one's just going to be a quick one of some casting news I thought was pretty interesting. Ooh, oh, we're getting green bars of death on the video. That's not good.
All
Again,
right, I think
Infinity.
I got
All right. So yeah, Infinity Bros are saying they're excited for Avengers versus X-Men in the future of the MCU, and I'm like, I think that's going to have to happen at some
that. You
point.
think?
It's too big of a concept for them not to eventually do it. Even if it's like the stupid like crossover like fight where it's like, oh, we're going to fight each other, but we're actually really
I
alike, so
think
let's team up with each other.
I think you froze.
Oh, did I freeze? Um, but yeah, even if it's like the stupid sort of like it's like we need to fight each other, and then oh, we're actually similar, and we're going to work this out together. I think we're going to get that. Because the Avengers versus X-Men comic was just it was too big of a selling point recently, and it's like it'd be too it'd be daft of them not to at least consider it, you know. Oh my goodness, I did not realize this video was going to like freak out and pause so frequently. You still with me? Alright, so Nitro's video is frozen again. So yeah, so it looks like we're going to be going to Skype next week to try that out. Until we get him back, we'll move on a little bit. So there's one last little bit of news I kind of want to talk about. Actually, I was going to talk about some casts and stuff, but we'll drop it and just move to the last big topic. Just because I want to mention this, and this is probably something we're going to talk about in depth in a podcast, maybe even next week's. I think it's something that we need to talk about in depth with. I really want to get Nitro back for this. I'm kind of stalling a little bit for his video too. Alright, give me 1 sec. I'm going to try and get him back on.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Good grief.
That was
sorry, guys. I really appreciate everybody's patience as we're working through this stuff.
Yeah, thank you for those that are hanging out with us and are sticking with it.
Yeah, I know it's painful with this buffering and all that stuff.
Yeah, trust me, it's painful for us as well trying to do it. So we'll definitely do Skype next week and see if that runs better for us.
So the last thing I heard was you all were talking about X-Men versus Avengers, and I was like, you really think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think just because it's too big of a concept to not do, even if it's the stupid, like, you know, yeah, we're going to be fighting each other, but we're really more alike, so we're going to be friends and help each other concept. And just the Avengers versus the X-Men comic was too big of an event not to try and make some money off of, you know?
I think for me, I think the things that I'm excited about the most, I think Fantastic Four, because I want to see how they differentiate it from the ridiculously campy ones that came before it. Yeah. And then a legitimate Doctor Doom, and a legitimate Silver Surfer and Galactus. I'm super excited about those.
Yeah, Silver Surfer and Galactus are definitely big points, but like getting Doctor Doom as a main villain in the MCU is that's just one of the biggest gets for them. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Doctor Doom is like one of the biggest threats in Marvel Comics, and he's been. I
mean, I haven't read a lot of stuff like Dark Reign and all that stuff with him, where like he basically becomes a god or whatever, or Siege, I think. But I know he's like ridiculously powerful and he's super smart. He's like Doctor Strange had a baby with Tony Stark. Like he's super smart, but he's really good with magic.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, that was the whole Secret Wars event that Jonathan Hickman got up to.
Yeah.
Got someone asking a question about it's going to be a great podcast. How often are we going to be on? Well, I think at the moment we're shooting for every week, possibly every 2 weeks, just depending on how the topics go and how the news goes and stuff like that for us to talk about. But I think we're definitely shooting for at least every Sunday afternoon if we can.
Yeah.
Unless something comes up, we'll probably change it. But yeah, we'll definitely be going forward with it, I think. Because we're not going to do it for long, an hour and a half. I think we can fill that once a week easily. At least I hope anyway. That's the plan. We'll see if that works.
Yeah.
Because apparently Discord was a plan as well, and that's kind of, gone wrong.
Discord letting us down, man. Letting us down.
It's fine for like voice chats. I think it's just the video it's really struggling with.
Yeah.
If in doubt, if it gets bad enough, I'll go on screen and I'll just voice chat you for the rest of it if it ends up becoming too bad, and we'll work it out later. So the last big bit of news I wanted to quickly touch on, just because our time's starting to go and I want to get into our main topic for the week. It's whenever I talk about a new topic, your video freezes. And these videos froze again. This is becoming a reoccurring thing apparently for this, so yeah, Skype's definitely going to get checked out for next week's. Oh, you hear me? You with me, dude?
Yeah, I'm very training.
You can hear you're kind of a bit patchy on this side, but we can hear you a little bit. folks, give me 1 second. Let's see if I can get him back. In the end, the calling. Alright, I'm going to try calling him back again. Just give me a sec. Alright, so hopefully you'll pick up in a moment. At least I'm hoping so. So I'll just go into the last topic myself then, just until we can kind of get things working on his side. So one of the big things and the big pieces of the news coming out with the whole coronavirus, COVID-19 situation, is a lot of comic book stores have basically, a lot of comic book distributors, or comic book companies have said that they're not going to be putting out more comics now. And then the big thing was that Diamond Distributions, the one big distributor of comic books, gave up and said, like, we're done. We're not going to put any more comics out to comic book stores. We're not going to risk it. Oh, yep, apparently we're... What is going on with this? Alright, so hopefully he's going to pick up in a sec. You hear me? No. Alright. So unfortunately Discord's kind of causing this to be an issue, so I'm going to go into the last topic a little bit. So yeah, Diamond Distributions, the only distributing company for comics, has basically said no, we're not going to give out comics to the stores, which has basically stopped comic book stores dead. Yeah, it really is bad. Oh,
Yo.
you're alive. And you froze.
Yo.
Oh.
I don't know what the issue was, man. I really appreciate everybody's patience. This is super frustrating, just as much as it is for you. So.
It was not freezing this much. We tested it. We didn't do it live onto stream, but we were on Discord, like video, for a while, and it wasn't giving us issues. So yeah, Discord video is absolutely such a disappointment, but we're definitely going to be looking at other options. I think probably going to go straight to Skype for next time, just easier. Can I? Alright, you keep. Yeah, it's frozen again. Alright. I'm going to leave the call and I'm going to just try audio calling. I'm so sorry about this, guys. Thank you so much for your patience with us. This is... Oh.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey. Alright. You're not freezing. Can I put my video up without us freezing? No, apparently not. Alright, are we good this time? I think we can hope we're good. Alright, so thank you so much for the patience in that. So this last one
was again.
So yeah, as I was saying in the chat, for this last bit of news, Diamond Distributions has stopped distributing comics. You play around with Skype, what you use, and it usually works pretty well for us. Although we've never done a live podcast, so I digress. We're definitely up for Infinity Bros, and we're definitely up for trying it. Well, that's kind of one of the big questions now that's happening about, and that's why I think we need to do a whole podcast on it itself. Is because right now Diamond Distributions isn't going to be putting out any comics, so people were wondering what was going to happen because DC and Marvel basically didn't say they were going to stop. They didn't say they were going to stop distributing new comics. They didn't say they were going to stop creating new content. So this got people wondering what's going to happen. Because people are then kind of like, well, is this all just going to go to digital? Like, are we all going to be going on to Comixology and different stuff like that, looking for digital comics? And DC finally released a statement. I literally just seen an article on this earlier today. And they sent out a letter to direct market retailers. It says, to direct market retailers, first, the entire team here at DC hopes that you, your family, and your employees are staying safe and healthy during this very tough and precarious time. We know that you have been waiting for DC to comment on the state of affairs and to address any measures we will take to help our community lighten the burden of the disruption to our business. And we've been working hard on a long-term solution-focused plan. Here is how we will help. Periodicals and books with in-store dates between March 18th and June 24th in 2020 will be fully returnable. We'll even provide credit for you to separate return shipping of these items only. Additionally, because anticipated that continued disruption to business and operations will create regional volatility, DC is exploring a multi-distributor model to provide us with the flexibility needed during this crisis to get new content to our readers on an ongoing basis. In the short term, we continue to engage in active conversations with Diamond to help us solve the distribution between that have arisen. Oh. Yeah. Alright. He's having an issue with his Discord, so we're just going to keep going on this side and hopefully he can jump back in. But yeah, we'll definitely try Skype for next time. Stores that want to need it as soon as possible, we'll provide additional information about how we'll make that happen in the coming days. Thanks for your patience with us. DC will continue to monitor the situation, continue to speak with you directly, and continue to support you through the days ahead. You are the lifeblood of this industry. All the best, the DC team. Oh, we both froze. Am I still frozen? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me. If you can still hear me, please don't chuck it up in chat and let me know so that I can work with it. Not for me. Okay, thanks, Ando. So that's still running. The interesting thing about this comment from DC, and the thing that's kind of exciting, is where they say that we're going to have a multi-distributor model. Now, I don't know if any of you know how like the comic books industry has kind of run for so long, but for pretty much forever, Diamond Distributors, at least for the last 20 years, have been the sole distributor of DC's comics, as well as Marvel, Dark Horse, Image, Boom. Pretty much any comic book has came through Diamond. But Diamond is shut down by the COVID thing, so it's kind of making people think about this really outdated model, because Diamond basically has a case of you have to see the previews 3 months in advance, order the amount of books that you've got in advance. Oh. Alright, yeah. So, yeah, Nitro's having issues with his Discord now, so I'm just going to keep going with this and we'll see where this ends up. So the distribution is like we would get solicitations 3 months in advance. For those solicitations 3 months in advance, comic book stores had to order their books. And that would determine whether books survived or not. Like, books that get cancelled because of low numbers is never because of how many they sell, it's about how many get ordered by the comic book distributor. And it's a kind of messed up model that stops things kind of getting appropriate numbers. And what's selling well, what's doing well, all that. But with Diamond shut down, this is kind of a chance to look at that model and see if there's a better way of doing it. The fact that DC's looking at multiple distributors now is a massive thing for distributing their content. Not to mention the fact as well that like comic books are the only like medium in the last few years that have been outselling physical copies over digital copies. Oh. think Nitro trying to come back.
Yo.
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm not getting a video, but we're getting your voice, so I'm not going to mess with it.
Alright.
There we go. Alright, so hopefully you're back.
Yeah, I think I am.
So yeah, I was just telling everyone, like, talking a bit about the diamond distribution thing.
Yeah.
And basically, an article I read today, basically DC's released a statement on it. Finally, someone has released a statement on it, and basically talking about them looking at options and what they can do. And they're talking about a multi-distributor option, which like is a massive deal for the comic book industry. Because I was saying to you before, like, you know, it's Diamond has been the head. They've been the ones for the last 20 years have distributed Marvel, DC, Image, you name it. They're the ones distributing it. It's a one company thing. But the fact that DC is now looking at other options is a big deal. And not to mention that they're looking at the digital options. They're looking at a digital market. Movies, video games, books are all selling digitally and starting to sell more digital than physical copies. But one genre that never has is comic books. I think we lost Nitro again. Comic books have always been selling more physical than digital. And even though the trend's starting to kind of push towards more and more digital, it's always, you know, it's kind of like Marvel and DC have always kind of been scared to pull the trigger on doing massive digital things, because if they go full digital and stop releasing just, you know, their monthly issues, that, you know, essentially you're going to be shutting down the local comic book stores, and neither of them wants to be the one responsible for killing the local comic book stores, understandably. But it's something that is probably going to happen eventually. You know, like, why have all these single issues of stuff? Why go in weekly to pick up my copy of Spider-Man or Batman or whatever when I can have them go straight to my phone or my tablet or my computer, and I can read them there, store them on there. You know, I don't have to go out, especially in this day and age where it's like we're trying to do social distancing. Like, I don't even have to go to the comic book store. I can get it right to my tablet, and I can read it there. It's going to be interesting to see if this is the final push for the digital comic books. If this is the final push for digital comics over the physical. And the truth is, I don't know which is going to win out. Because comics have always been run by, you know, they've always been pushed by people wanting to be comic collectors, having to collect every single issue and having to have... Yeah, well, it's Nitro again. So, like, I'm intrigued to see where this goes. We're probably going to do a full episode where we talk in depth about it. Probably next week when we try and do our talk. I think we're going to try and look at that and look at the actual digital layout. You know, the future. Is this the future? I mean, you can see I'm a collector of comics. I've got them up in my wall behind me. I've got them adoring. Yeah, see, that's the thing, but a lot of people prefer the physical copies. Like, you know, Nitro was even saying that to me before. You know, I'll speak for him since he's not on here. But yeah, there's something about having a comic book in your hand. I did hear a comic book YouTuber talking about it and saying, you know, maybe what's going to happen is we'll get the single issues in digital format, and they'll go to trade paperbacks and, like, you know, collected editions as paper formats that you can pick up. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm kind of... Yeah, it's not letting him on. So, yeah, so it's not letting Nitro on, so let me quickly... I'm going to tell him just to jump in chat. Oh,
Yo.
Cool. It seems to keep freezing for you, so, like, I was going to say...
Probably going to cut out.
Yeah, so I was going to say, if you even want to jump in chat and just, like, kind of talk through the chat and stuff, if that's going to work. And because I don't really want to, like, stop the whole stream to try and, like, set up a Skype call for it. So if it keeps cutting out, even if we can like just do audio, or if you want to jump in chat or something like that, and we'll see if we can keep it going like that way.
Yeah, let me actually turn my camera off. See if that helps.
Yeah, see if we can just get audio. All right.
Nobody wants to see my ugly mug anyways. We'll get it fixed.
We gotta fix it. You know what? I'll take your video not being there if it means I can actually get your voice.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me finish this little rant I'm doing about the diamond thing, because I think we're going to talk about this more in depth next week anyway. Because just with our time, I don't want to kind of re-go over everything, and then we'll jump into our actual topic for this week. But yeah, so I think that was one of the big things pushing for it, was the digital and physical. And I think for me, I've always been a collector of physical. Like, I've got physical issues up behind me. I've always been a collector of trades, because I preferred the full collection, because in Scotland I always found it very hard to get the actual single issues. Like, getting them on a week-to-week basis was not going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Trackman87, for following us. Welcome to the Comic Clan. We're so glad you're here. Yeah, pull up and join in the conversation. Just so you're aware, we are having some freaking technical issues. That's why my co-host is a green dot on the screen, and a disembodied voice. But it's all good. He's still here. We still love him.
Yes.
You can find all comics and they've made digital. I used to collect. Sorry. Honestly, Bat, if you go to Comixology is like the biggest for online stuff, and it's run by Amazon as well. So I'm pretty sure Twitch is okay with me plugging them, since they're all connected to Amazon. But yeah, go check out Comixology. I know they've got a lot of older comics that people have made digital on there. So yeah, they may have some Sergeant Rock. I don't know if they do. I've never looked for them personally, but if anywhere's got them, it'll be Comixology. 100%. I would guarantee they would be the online ones to have them. But yeah, so like I would never be able to find like the single issues from month to month. I would never, and I hated it because I would pick up stuff like, I remember like, finding a Spider-Man comic from during the Clone Saga run, and the cover was like Spider Carnage, and I just remember being so like, oh my goodness, that's so cool, and wanting but that was the only one I found in that story arc. I never found any of the other issues, so like I always preferred getting the trades when I started getting older and going to comic book stores themselves. Like when I started going to Glasgow and going to Forbidden Planet, and Glasgow was my big stop off, I would always get the trades because I liked having the full story. I liked having a complete story in front of me.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So like I've never been a fan of doing it. Like for this show, I'm probably going to start doing week to week just so I can keep up. Like I always kind of read up on what's happening in comics anyway, but I've always preferred getting trades. I always prefer having the book with the full story arc. I can read what's going on. I know what's going on, and I don't have to worry about collecting every issue in a run.
Yeah.
But I know people that grew up, like if I had access to comic books like every week, like every Saturday I could go to the comic book store and grab comics, and then yeah, I probably would have got them on a weekly basis if I could have, But
yes, see, I never did that. So like when I grew up, I wasn't really into comics when I was little, but my cousin was, and he had a whole box of comics, and they varied, and they were all over. Man, he had here, Spider-Man and X-Men.
You're kind of cutting in and out a little bit, dude.
Okay.
Can hear you bits and pieces.
Okay.
You know what I've got?
I just pop.
Yeah, you're cutting out, dude. I'm getting like nothing practically now. Sorry, folks. Again, technical issues. Okay. Random thought. Let me try this. This is my last attempt to get him on this podcast for this week. I'm going to try and call him and put him on speakerphone. And use my mic. And try and be a smart person. So I'm going to try and put him on speaker and get him to talk from this side. Couldn't place a call. Why can't you place a call? Stop being annoying.
Yo.
Hey, I've got you on speakerphone up at my mic.
Okay, sweet.
So I don't know if this will work. So chat, let me know if you can hear him. Let me know if he's too loud or not. So I'm going to attempt to do this to to get his... And he's in chat as well. Awesome. Chat, say hi to Nitro. All right. So we're going to attempt this. If this doesn't work, I'm done, and I'm going to like finish the podcast off myself for this week, and we'll just try Skype next week. I'm done with video Discord. Like I just no, I'm not doing it anymore. All right. So yeah, so please say what you were saying again. You said your cousin had comics and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say my cousin had a box of comics. I was never really into comics growing up. But he had a box of comics, and I never went to the comic store really growing up to buy them. I just read his, and he had a ton of them, ton of different ones. He had like Spawn, and Superman, and he had the Death of Superman, which I was hardcore into. A lot of like Bagley era and McFarlane era Spider-Man stuff, which I'm a huge fan of. But yeah, I never went to the comic store. I was really into art growing up, and there was one comic store in Richmond. It was called Dave's Comics, and there was a guy there who actually illustrated comics. So I would go in there and watch him draw on the boards and stuff like that. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. But yeah, that was my intro to comics. I think I stole some of my cousin's comics too. So, but we won't talk.
Yeah, we won't know until he watches the podcast, and then we'll...
Yeah, until he watches the podcast.
But awesome, but yeah, I mean that's a really cool way to kind of gotten into the comic book industry, and obviously you're definitely an art man. And for anyone that doesn't know, the Comics and the Cross logo that you see is actually designed by Nitro. He drew it. He drew it for us. He designed it all. So like I can take absolutely zero credit for that part of it. It's like the first time he drew that, I was like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. I love it. So yeah, so he's a massive artist. At some point we actually want to get some art streams going on here on Comics and the Cross, and get him doing some art stuff, because like trust me, it's worth seeing. But yeah, that's a really cool way for you to have got into comics. Like for me, like as I said, I never really got like single issues in comics, and it wasn't until I got older that I was able to get trades. So my real introduction to like comic books and superheroes was 100% was TV shows. Like I grew up watching like the 90s Spider-Man was my hero. Watching the 90s Spider-Man was my thing.
Oh yeah.
That was my show. I watched that from the first episode, the Night of the Lizard one, which I shout out, you can get them all on Disney Plus now. So I was watching them the other day in prep for this, and it's like it's still good. It's still one of the best theme songs. That and the X-Men are still like the best like Saturday morning cartoon theme songs in my opinion.
Yeah, X-Men and Spider-Man, and so I agree. So that was another introduction for me into comics was Spider-Man animated series, X-Men, or Batman the animated series. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man and X-Men. All three of those, man, I religiously watched them.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like I wasn't as big into Batman, the animated series, as I was Spider-Man and X-Men. The two of them really caught my attention. I liked Batman, but not in the same level as I like the other two.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that plays into the fact of like everyone goes crazy for Batman like now still, and I'm still kind of like, he's alright.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Marvel fan. But I definitely like Batman. Superman is decent. All of them, all the other ones, DC, I don't know anything about. Not that I'm not a huge fan, I just don't know a ton about. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, and my video disappeared. Give me 1 second, people. My video disappeared because I'm not calling you. Alright. We'll see if that stays up then. just because the call, they said, hey, there's no one else in this call, so we're just going to hang up the video that we're streaming of you. So at that point, it's going to just become an audio podcast if that keeps happening.
I know, right?
But yeah, it's like it's Bat in the chat saying, Bat in the chat, there you go. X-Men and Thundercats were my favorites. Oh yeah, I loved X-Men. I was a huge Wolverine fan growing up. Absolutely adored the X-Men cartoon for the 90s, and loved all that sort of stuff. Like that was, I loved watching the original Thundercats from the 80s, Transformers. Probably my biggest foray into any sort of superhero thing, though, to be completely honest, was Power Rangers. That was my big obsession with superheroes. I realize I've still got these earphones and I can take them out because you're not on the call anymore. But yeah, like that was my big foray into superheroes, was Power Rangers. I was Power Rangers obsessed. Like you can even see it in the chat on my shelf here. I've got the White Ranger, like Japanese vinyl pop, and it's actually signed by Jason David Frank, the original Green and White Ranger. And I've got a picture of myself with him when I went to Wizard World a few years ago. Big time Ando in the chat saying I still watch them. Yeah, I mean, like they're still going. They're still a massive thing, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I had a friend that was a little older than me. I was hardcore into Power Rangers too, and he would relentlessly make fun of me for watching it.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like I and you get it though when you start, because it came out of that age when like I was a kid and you were like I was in later kid years, almost going into my teens, like 11 and 12, when Power Rangers was still kind of going, and you're a fan of it, and then but people are, you know, you're starting to become that teenage year where it's like, oh, I don't like that stuff, that's kiddie stuff, that sort of thing, and it's like, and yeah, going and watching it back, and even like the current seasons that are on, I mean, it's like it's not exactly, you know, prime time TV that's going to win an Oscar or something, or a, you know, or a Grammy or whatever the heck the TV one is. It's not going to be that. It's 100% cheesy, it's 100% ridiculous and over the top, but like that was my foray into superheroes. I wanted to be a Power Ranger, and along with all these cartoons and stuff, these were the original things that taught me what a hero was, and I've loved superheroes since. I've always loved superheroes because of that stuff.
Yeah, I kind of transitioned. Like I branched out when, you know, I was again first introduced when I was younger to like Spider-Man and Superman and Batman and all that stuff, and then I really got into like Dragon Ball Z and a little bit of anime, and I just feel like there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera thing working so that I don't have to worry about this video cutting out again. So I just thought, hey, I've got a camera, I can just turn the camera on itself. But yeah, I mean, like all of that stuff, I mean, like I think like us being kids at the time we were at like the golden age. That's an Emmy, thank you, Bat. What TV shows gets an Emmy? Like, thank you. And Infinity was saying, sorry it didn't go to, if you plan, guys, you'll get it figured out. And I'm like, yeah, we will. We'll get it figured. I mean, it's episode 1. The fact that
we'll definitely get it. We'll get it hammered out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out.
Let's put it this way. This is why we decided this was going to be nostalgia, you know. This is going to be us talking about what got us into comic books. We weren't going to go into any massive topics this week because what was going to go wrong this week because it's the first week, because that's when everything goes wrong. But hey, there's a video going up, there's people in chat. This is a bit as good as I could have hoped for, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, but like, yeah, I think we grew up in kind of like the golden age of superheroes, and like on TV anyway.
We definitely did. No question about it.
And like I still remember. I was just thinking about it there when it kind of transitioned as I was getting older. I remember in the year 2000, the first time I seen a billboard with the X-Men like movie poster on it. I didn't know this movie was coming out. I didn't know it was happening. I was in Scarborough on vacation with my parents down in England by the beach, and we were walking along, and there was a bus stop, and you know how bus stops have the advertisements in it, and it was literally an advertisement for the X-Men movie. I flipped. It's like, that was my cartoon. I loved the X-Men. I still love the X-Men. I am never going to not be grateful for Jonathan Hickman for revamping them and bringing them back to like the forefront of Marvel. It's like, I love it. Nitrogen B, stop spamming caps.
Hey, I'm allowed to spin caps.
Not according to Nightbot, you're not.
All right. I think the first warning is one of the hosts. That's pretty bad.
I'm gonna say that's pretty phenomenal. Like the first.
Alright, let me try this again.
Don't put it all in caps, whatever you're writing.
There we go. I was just trying to be really excited about it.
X-Men for life, and I'm like, yeah, no, not as far as Nightbot's concerned, anyway. But yeah, it's like I mean, I remember flipping over that. I went nuts over that. I mean, yeah. I think the first like thing like I even remember watching superheroes, and this is literally just came back to me. You remember how like there was an Adam West 1960s Batman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That there was a cartoon based on that.
I heard that. Yeah, I've never seen it.
The only reason I know that it's based on that is because he has the same Batmobile in that cartoon that he had in the 1960s show. That's literally the only reason I know it's linked to it. But I remember having that video cassette of that as a kid and watching that, and just I've always had a love for superheroes.
Yeah.
And just as I got older, like, and I started going to comic book stores, the comic book that really got me that I picked up, that I read, not even when I picked it up, when I just heard about it, and it made me a lifer for a comic book fan, like I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Was 100% Civil War.
Really?
100%. Because you see, you need to remember, when Civil War came out, it was 2006. We are so oversaturated with massive events in comics now.
Mm-hmm.
In 2006, we were not.
Yeah.
And this was pitched as Captain America versus Iron Man. Iron Man is 100% loved now, but like, make no mistakes about it, he was not Robert Downey Jr. like back then. And in Civil War, he was 100% the villain. He was hunting down other heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when that, so I forgot when I bought it. I think I bought Civil War, like the trade. So it had all of them in it. Probably before, you said it came out in 2000. I probably got it in like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I read the whole thing in one night. I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the stuff that it went into was phenomenal. It was such a great conversation topic. It was just, I'd never seen anything like it. Like, the idea of like superheroes fighting other superheroes has been redone year after year now. So much so that it's kind of a tired concept. But in 2006, it wasn't.
Well, one of the frames in that comic, or in the trade, that like still is like super vivid in my brain is when, I think this is in Civil War, is when Punisher, they're hunkered down in like somewhere, like in a bunker somewhere or whatever, and Punisher busts open the door and he's cradling Spider-Man, like broken body. And he has blood all over him. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, just while we've got the chat up, I just want to give a big shout out. Bat saying that he was a generation ahead of us. He got the old Batman show, old Superman reruns, and Wonder Woman with Linda Carter. But a big, massive shout out to Gamer Grind Co, who've just popped into the chat to say hey. It's like, hey guys, and this is our amazing sponsor right here who are in the chat. So thank you guys for sponsoring Comics in the Cross. We really appreciate it. So yeah, thanks for coming by and checking out the actual podcast. We've had some technical issues, but we're making do. I have a phone.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're gonna figure out how to get video and audio without buffering. We're gonna do it. That's our main mission.
That's our goal now. We will check our Twitter DMs 100%. I will do. Thank you guys. But yeah, it's like, so like, but Civil War was the one that got me into comics. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to read comic books, and I want to. get into it, and then after that, it was the trades I got into were Deadpool, following like the Dark Reign, like stuff that happened going on beyond that.
Yeah.
His run after that is like I really started getting into Deadpool. I'm not as massive into his comics now, but I think that's because I've got this weird thing of like if something gets oversaturated, like people absolutely adore it, I kind of get fed up of it.
Yeah, I think
I
your comic IQ is probably way higher than mine. Just to be super transparent,
yeah.
because like my brain is like my comic brain is stuck in the mid '90s, like Rob Liefeld,
That's not a nice place to be stuck.
yeah, like Wildcats, like Mark Bagley's Spider-Man. I know I've said that before, but that is a sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't read. I really want to get into the Dark Reign stuff. I've got a whole lot of trades of Jonathan Hickman that I've been trying to read. The newer stuff that came out in like the 2000s, I think. But yeah, I would love to start getting into that stuff.
Oh yeah,
I like when comics take themselves seriously. That's what I like.
Yeah, I think for me, I think there needs to be a balance to it. I think the comics definitely need to take themselves seriously because, like, if they're not invested in the story, then why should we be?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think you also kind of have to let go a little bit with comics because when you think about it in the basic level of like how ridiculous a concept some of this stuff actually is, you know, it's like people who have magic powers who can do these amazing special things. Like there's a guy who's like the most popular hero in the world, or like, well, I was going to say most popular hero in America, but actually apparently Superman is, not Spider-Man. But the second most popular hero in America is like a guy who swings about on webs dressed in a red and blue costume calling himself Spider-Man. You know, which Stan Lee was told no one's going to buy that because everyone hates spiders.
You better watch your mouth.
I'm just saying, man, it's like the vote happened. Superman's the preferred superhero over Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like, and I kind of don't blame them. It's like Superman is like he is the hero. He's the pinnacle of heroes. He always will be. Don't get me wrong. He's had some crap writers, but he's always going to be the pinnacle of a superhero.
Yeah, I mean, not to switch topics. I don't think I am actually, but like that's why I kind of like I really like Man of Steel because he is the hero, and they paint him that way, but they paint him as like he's an alien, and that's how he should be. Like that's who he is. He's an alien. So they came at it from that angle, and I thought that was really, really cool.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like and that's the thing. And I mean, let's be honest. It's meant to be the Jesus allegory. It's meant to be the better than the people, the one that people have to look up to, and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, the thing that really got my concept with Superman. I don't know how we got on a Superman topic, but here we go.
I'm staring at the Death of Superman trade as we speak. That was a huge influence on me as a kid.
Oh yeah, I mean, like one of the things that gets me with Superman is the fact of like at any point he could go over the edge. That's why I love the Injustice comics, because it's like what happens if Superman loses it.
Yeah.
And again, they're written by Tom Taylor as well, because freaking he's like, just read Injustice and you'll know why I love Tom Taylor. He's also writing DC right now, and he's probably my favorite writer at the moment. There's nothing I've read of his recently that I do not love. Tom Taylor's a legend. But like I love this sort of as Superman goes off the deep end stuff. But it made me think of I heard someone describing it in an amazing way. Yeah, Bat saying Death of Superman was his favorite as well. Yeah, I mean that was a massive thing in the 90s. And it was ballsy as well for DC. Let's be honest, to kill off Superman.
Well, even A Funeral for a Friend, like the follow up, and then Reign of the Superman.
Yeah.
I was all into that, man.
Oh yeah, I mean like that stuff was like that. They went all out for it, and that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the one thing I heard with Superman that made me really appreciate what he is the fact that we always think Superman, oh yeah, he's really, really powerful, he can do all this stuff, but it's like, no, he walks through a world of tissue paper. He can never not be on guard. He can never not be careful. One wrong step and he could snap someone by accident or blast a hole in something. He is forever on edge. So not only a case of like at one point he could snap and turn evil, like no, he could accidentally be a threat to this planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, but he holds it all in and keeps it together all the time, and I'm like, whoa, that kind of blew my mind when I thought about that. And I'm like, so when he like fights somebody like Doomsday, and he's like, I can let go and give it my all. I'm like,
Yes.
you don't fully understand until you understand how much he holds back. You do not fully understand how much he's letting go.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Oh yeah, 100% Bat in the chat. I will agree with that. Not one movie has gotten Doomsday right yet. Don't even get me started on the Batman v Superman. That is not Doomsday. That is not even close to Doomsday. It's like I want to see a good Doomsday at some point.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I put it in the chat, but that Ninja Turtle / cave troll from Lord of the Rings Doomsday.
That's exactly what he looks like. That is
Yeah,
exactly what he looks like. He looks like that cave troll from Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
It's like that is not.
You couldn't even get close to what the comics represented.
That's the thing that gets me. Like, he's CGI. It's not like you were making a costume. You can't CGI the actual Doomsday look. Really?
I feel like they told the person who created him, they were like, all right, so we want this villain, right? This is like the toughest dude that Superman has ever faced. And there's a whole bunch of reference material for him, but we don't want you to look at any of it. Just do what you want. I feel like that's what they did.
If they looked at it, I feel like they kind of glanced at it, but then again, I feel like that's what they did for a lot of Batman v Superman. I'm not going to go into a whole Batman v Superman bashing thing. I'm not a fan of that movie. If you are, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It wasn't a favourite for me. I appreciate there's people out there that like the movie, and if you do, I'm grateful for it. I was not a fan. I feel like he kind of like, picked things like, oh, I like that from that comic, and I like that from that comic, and at some point he skimmed over, oh, Death of Superman, we should do that, and didn't actually open that one.
Yeah, I liked aspects of it. Like, I really think they did Batman better than I think Batman's been done.
Yeah, that's still my favorite on-screen Batman.
Yeah, I definitely think he's the best. He's
sorry, big time Anno just put in the chat like that Doomsday sounded like the TARDIS.
Alright, I'm gonna be alright.
Awesome.
So this is my second bomb drop for the podcast. I've never seen one episode of Doctor Who.
Okay,
so.
I'm hanging up on you now. Hanging up on you. Bye.
I don't know. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I just haven't. So
the thing is, like, Doctor Who's became such a massive concept now, but it's like the Doctor changes so much from like season to season. And Gamer Grind's like, ouch. It's like, I'm sorry, Doctor Who's like this. I'm from the UK. It's the pinnacle of sci-fi, and the fact that it's finally made it over here to America is great. But it's like, it's one of those things, like, every Doctor's so different, so you'll always find one like that you're a fan of, and then you always know they're going to die and pass on to the next incarnation. But yeah, you either, but for goodness sake, go watch some good sci-fi. The lot of you. That's it. I'm definitely starting a podcast on this channel called Cosmic in the Cross, where I'm going to talk about sci-fi stuff.
I'll be straight up, and this is gonna hurt. This is gonna plunge the knife even deeper into your heart. I haven't seen Firefly either, or none of Whedon's stuff, really. Actually,
I can let go of like Angel and Buffy and all that stuff, and it's like, but Firefly, you've never watched Firefly?
I've not watched one episode.
Oh my goodness!
All right, this is another bomb drop. You guys are just getting tons of bomb drops today.
I feel like you waited till we did the first episode of this podcast to tell me this stuff.
I'm just not a fan of Whedon's stuff, man.
Okay.
All right, let me rephrase that. I'm not a fan of the stuff that I've seen from Whedon. Like Avengers, I wasn't a huge fan. Avengers: Age of Ultron, wasn't a huge fan for various reasons, different reasons for both of those movies. But yeah, I don't know.
100% that we need more Firefly. Bat in the chat saying we need the Firefly season 2. We really do. Like, I appreciate the comics continuing the story. Like, if you want to get any more Firefly stuff in the comic books, I think like Boom Studios just rebooted the comics. They got the rights to it from Dark Horse, and I think they're on their second trade. The second trade of it's out now. I believe so. Yeah, it's like, if you want to keep the story going, there's comics for Firefly. 100% worth it. Check them out. See, I completely get where you're coming from. Completely get it. I wasn't a massive fan of Buffy. I know there's people that are going to crucify me for that one. I liked her when I was growing up because it was a hot chick fighting monsters.
Yeah.
That was that. What more do you need when you're a teenage guy? You know, it's like that's pretty much the be all and end all.
Yeah.
It's like, but I kind of like when Angel left it after I think was it season 2 or 3. I kind of like I didn't care anymore, and I started watching Angel, and I loved Angel. I absolutely adored Angel, and then I remember going back and watching it later, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is way goofier than I remember.
Yeah.
I remember this being way better than it is. I don't know why I remember it being better. And as far as his Avengers stuff, I am so glad that he stopped after Avengers Age of Ultron.
So, all right. So, I am thankful that we got an Avengers movie, and as a whole, it was okay. I feel like after seeing something like Civil War and Endgame and Infinity War, I just feel like we could have gotten something so much better with someone else.
See, the thing is, like, I'm forgiving of Avengers, and I'll tell you why. Like, I'm forgiving of it because it's always going to have a great nostalgia place in my heart because it was the first thing we got all the heroes together like that. That's never going to not be amazing to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, if you go back and watch the original phase of like the Marvel movies, they wouldn't cut it today.
You don't think so?
No, a lot of them wouldn't. Like Iron Man, you probably would get away with. Incredible Hulk wouldn't. Iron Man 2 wouldn't. Thor wouldn't. Because, like, being a superhero movie is not enough. It needs to give us more now. And I think Avengers was the tail end of that. When we got into phase 2, we started, like, upping the ante. So it was part of that first phase of superhero movies, so I can let it go. Like, I can sit and watch Avengers happily, and there's so much good in it, I can let it go. But I will 100% agree, Age of Ultron was like, I literally watched that, and I'm like, I almost felt like I was obligated as a comic book fan to say like, "Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good. Well done." And then I'm like, "That was not good." I'm like, "You had James Spader as Ultron.
I know, and you're making him like.
How did you screw that up?"
Sound effect. I'm like, really?
You had the perfect casting for Ultron. Ultron even looked great. The CGI looked good on him, and like at least enough for the movie. I'm like, I'm into this, and then like, and no, I wasn't a fan. I'm glad we didn't stop there, and like I 100% completely agree with the fact of, you know, that I've no doubt Batman v Superman was wrecked by, you know, Josh Whedon as much as it was Zack Snyder. I've no doubt it was a dual vision on that. And it's like Whedon is one of these guys who's like, oh, he's a geek god, and I'm like, is he though? You know,
He's not really.
Not to be that Thor meme, but like, is he really? You know. I got some chat. What's going on? And Dark Horse used to put out some of the greatest comic stories. Their Star Wars stuff was phenomenal. Just did a 180 and became Valiant Comics. Like, yeah, Dark Horse used to have some really out there different concepts for comics. Like, they had some great sci-fi stuff. Like, they done some great Star Wars stuff, you know, before that stuff doesn't exist anymore. I'm disappointed with Captain Marvel. Hope they do the second movie justice. I hope they do as well. We've talked a lot about the Captain Marvel one. We've talked a lot about that. I'll be honest, I went back and watched it, and it wasn't as bad as I remember.
Yeah, that's one of the few. So I try to get every comic book movie that comes out just because I want to support the industry.
Yeah.
But that is one of the few that I did not buy.
No, it's like I'll be honest.
Not bought two.
What was the other one?
So I don't have Captain Marvel. I can't think of the other one offhand. I think it's a Marvel movie, but
I'm a bit surprised. There's like 20 odd of them at this point. And at this point, it's like they're all pretty much all on Disney Plus anyway.
But yeah, I put it in the chat, but I think Brie Larson was the wrong choice for Captain Marvel. Like, so like based off what I've read, Captain Marvel, like I have a couple trades of her and stuff like that from Sue, DeConnick, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
And like
her run was phenomenal.
The vibe that I get from her is that she is, she's kind of arrogant, but she's funny, you know. But I didn't get that at all from Brie Larson. She was just not likable in my opinion. as a character.
For me, I just didn't connect with the character during it, and
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's the origin story. Maybe once we get through it, I'll kind of connect with her a little bit more. Like, I guess for me, like the 1-2 punch for me, well, the 1-2 punch of that movie, or the 1-2 punch of like that in Endgame, was the fact that like they almost tried to bring her in at the end of Endgame as like this big massive thing, and I'm like, for me, it was like, you've not earned that yet. You just had your first solo movie. It's like, you should not be. Don't get me wrong, I get you're this big powerful thing, but I'm like, and I'm a fan of Captain Marvel. I like Captain Marvel. I like Carol Danvers and that. I wasn't a fan of that movie, but the thing that killed that movie for me, and I don't know, everyone else seems to love it as far as I know, and I'm like, this could just be my opinion. 100% okay with that. There's like 20 something movies in the MCU at this point. You're not going to love all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some weird stories about her as well. Bat saying in the chat, like, she's an actual person in real life, she's not likable, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of keep that vibe. There's always stories, like, I don't know any of the truth to them, but there's always stories kind of like circulating that she's not that likable a person. I'm like, I'm not going to make a judgment because I don't know her, but I'm like, I don't know. I definitely wasn't a fan of her in Captain Marvel, and
Yeah, agreed.
but the killer for me was the CGI.
Yeah,
We are over 20 movies into the MCU. Disney owns the world at this point.
Pretty much.
There is no excuse for the CGI to look that bad. Because
the cat, the Flurkin.
Oh, the Flurkin.
Oh
The one for me is, it's not the Flurkin that got me. It's the whole final battle of Captain Marvel. When she flies up and she has the helmet on and stuff, and like, it's not even like you couldn't even get her in front of a green screen. She's clearly CGI'd in. The whole final thing is CGI, and you can tell it's CGI. And it's like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've slipped out. I'm not like, I like watching Iron Man fly about in Iron Man 1 when they had no budget and everything was on the line.
Dude, alright, so
Looked more believable.
I think Iron Man and Iron Man 1 is the best looking Iron Man suit ever. In
Yeah.
my opinion. I think it's the best looking Iron Man suit in any of the movies.
It is, I would say. It's like the first one's still the best one. They've done some stuff with it recently, but like they always go back to that design because it's just the best looking one. It really is.
It looks so good, and it looks so real.
Yeah, but yeah, we definitely, that needs to be a topic at some point where we need to delve into like the MCUs, like phase by phase, and
Absolutely.
talk in depth about them now. Because like we can go in, we're like 3 phases deep now, and we can actually go into all the stuff a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. But said in the chat, it's like it was almost as bad as Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. There is no excuse for that suit to have been CGI in Green Lantern. That is my only quote. That's my only thing on it, and I am moving on. There was no reason for that suit to be CGI. Because you know how you do CGI? You put someone in a green suit. You put someone in a green suit to CGI a green suit. That's how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, you put somebody in a skin tight green suit so they could be in a CGI green suit.
Exactly. I will let go of that as soon as someone explains why that makes sense. 100%, I will let that go. That does not make sense in any way. But yeah, oh yeah, I will give you that one as well, actually. And one of the only good things in Avengers Age of Ultron, that Hulkbuster armor and that Hulkbuster versus Hulk fight.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna try to do the video again.
I wonder when you popped up there.
Yeah, so I'll try to do the video so you guys can hear my voice and hear the video, if that works. If it starts to freeze again, then I'll turn it off.
Awesome. Well, I've got you up here anyway. We'll keep it. Hopefully, if it just needs to focus on the video, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely doing Skype next week for this because it sucks.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Everyone said, yeah, use Discord. Discord's great. And I'm like, yeah, Discord's great if you're doing an audio chat. Apparently, video chat makes it freak out.
Yeah, I think, I'll be honest. So most of it's probably my issue. I'll try to hardwire next time. I'll try to hardwire for the next podcast and mess around with the video resolution. I think it's buffering too much, though.
Yeah, it's buffering a lot, and like your video keeps freezing and stuff on my side, and it's like, Like, it better not be my freaking computer. We paid a lot of money for that computer so we could do this podcast.
Agreed.
It better not be.
Hey, I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna use the audio on that mic.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna try. If it doesn't work, I'll call you.
All right, we'll give it one more go. All right.
All right, can you hear me?
Need to put my earphones back in to actually hear you now.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep, I think I can hear you. Still a bit choppy, but I can hear you.
Hi.
Nah, it's still freezing. You keep coming in and then it keeps just like freezing again automatically.
All right.
Nah, let's go it. We're probably gonna be wrapping up shortly soon, so let's just go back to the phone and wrap it up with that.
All right, that works. I'll call you.
No worries. Hey, we tried.
Yeah, we tried.
So yeah, we're definitely not going to be doing Discord video chat next week. It's like we'll try Skype and see if we can get any more luck with that, and we'll hardwire you as well, so there's not any issues.
Yeah, that works. Sorry, guys. Really appreciate everybody's patience and hanging out.
Yeah, thank you for hanging out and being part of the conversation, everyone. Especially all these technical difficulties. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. Thank you all.
Do a Discord commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. We should.
Yeah, do a Discord commercial. It's like, do you want your conversations to look like this?
And then end it with the hashtag Discord sucks. How about that?
Yeah, 100%. It's like, what do you want your Discord calls to look like? Not this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of like a basis of. We kind of talked about how we got into comics and kind of got into a little bit of a MCU and Superman rants as well. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a chill out, hangout sort of podcast. So we're being on the net. Yeah, that's probably a factor as well, Ando. 100%. So it's like probably everybody being on the internet as well. Like, yeah. Like, everyone's at home and can watch the podcast, which is one of the great things about launching it right now. The other thing is, like, internet bandwidth are, like, ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate everyone coming and checking us out. But yeah, we'll probably wrap up because we're at about an hour and a half, so it's probably a good place to wrap it up before we get in another rant.
Yeah, I know.
So I think next week we are going to try Skype, and I think next week we're going to talk a bit more about the physical versus digital stuff, just because that's such a big thing going on now. I want to take the time to actually go into that in depth. And just chat about that, at least in part as well, and we'll talk a little bit more about some more comic book news and anything that's kind of happening with it. So if you need to say something, shout, because I need to type a sec, okay?
Yep.
Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit more housekeeping. So once again, just a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you for even being in the chat today. It's phenomenal to have you. So our sponsors, Gamer Grind Co., #1 coffee for gamers, and that link that I've put in the chat is a link to their website. If you go via that link, you will be able to pick up some amazing coffee. And I'm not saying this just because they're our sponsor. I 100%. We've been drinking it for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, but I think I'm actually going to do the sci-fi show. That's definitely something we need to do at some point. I'll definitely need to look into that. Thank you, Gamer Grind. I appreciate that. But not just saying this because they're our sponsor, and they are our sponsor, so I want to give them a good shout out. But like literally, I've been drinking their coffee for a couple of weeks now since we got our first subscription order in. First of all, I was doing some back and forth with Bob Thracer on Twitter, and literally doing that, I ended up asking them if they could send me use code Bob, his own like coffee that's on their website. They'd already roasted, I believe it was Headshot that they'd roasted for me, and we're already sending it out, and they sent me out use code Bob as well, absolutely free of charge. So a big thank you for that. I mean, you guys are legends for that. I've seen these guys doing some amazing things, and they are a smaller company. I will shout out, it's like that. So yeah, you are going to have to pay for like post and packaging and all that stuff for the coffee, and by weight, just so you're aware of it up front. But I promise you, it is worth the price. I've been drinking it for a few weeks now, and last Sunday we literally brewed some other coffee that we had because we didn't Oh yeah, I loved Use Code Bob. That was amazing as well. His is really good. I think I actually prefer his to the headshot one. His is my favorite so far. I've only tried two, um, but yeah, like literally, we brewed other coffee like last Sunday because we didn't have any ground up, and I was going on to help at the church's online stream, and that coffee tasted like it had no flavor anymore. I've literally been ruined by Gamer Grindco, and I'm like, I need to keep drinking their coffee. It's so good. I'm like, you say ouch, but it literally tasted like it didn't have. I don't know what you guys do with your beans, but I absolutely love it. I would not promote and have a sub that I do not like the product, and I do not agree with the product, and I do not want to keep using the product. I 100% love Gamer Grind. So if you click on that link, you'll get yourself some amazing coffee. And we're also going to be designing some merch to put on their store that are going to be exclusive onto their store. We have another store that's open on Teespring, but we're going to design some specific stuff for their store to put up there. And yeah, and if you buy something using that link, and that'll also actually give a little bit of money towards the channel, which we would greatly appreciate. And I understand the times we're in. I understand that people are like, not working right now or out of work and stuff with the whole COVID-19. This is me mentioning our sponsor, and if you want to support the channel by doing that, we greatly appreciate it. This is not a mandatory thing. This is not a give us your money thing. Not at all. 100%. Just like I'm also going to mention it as well, since I'm mentioning it, is our Patreon. We do have a Patreon that is up and running. Yep, there is another link to it. It's got 6 tiers. You can support it from as low as $2 a month. If you want to support us, we would greatly appreciate it. All that money will go back into keeping this podcast running, getting us equipment, letting us do more things and more shows. But that is not a mandatory thing. That is an appreciative thing if you want to do it. But like, we do not want to do it as a mandatory thing. That is not going to stop us doing Comics in the Cross. It is not going to be we know financial times are hard. We want to mention that it's available, but we don't want to force people into it. Not in any way. If you do want to give to us, we're appreciative, and thank you. If you've not done so already, since I'm spamming commands, I might as well keep going. Follow us on social media. Here's our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram. Go like us, follow us, and whatever else you're meant to do on social media stuff. Go and check us out there, and that'll keep us updated. I'll keep updating the social media stuff. So that we can keep an eye and keep up to date with what's going on with Comics in the Cross, what we're doing weekly, what our topics are going to be. And yeah, apparently I've had a couple of people already asking about Cosmic in the Cross as a possible podcast talking about sci-fi stuff. So yeah, that might be something I definitely look at doing in the future. Probably going to be doing it along with Nitro, because it's probably going to be introducing him to all these shows that he's never watched.
Yeah, I would totally be down for that. I'm always down to try new stuff, as long as it's not Josh Whedon. Just joking. I was just joking. That was a joke.
Thin ice, buddy. Thin ice. No, I will not force you into Joss Whedon stuff, except for Firefly. You are watching Firefly. It's one of the greatest ones.
I'll watch it.
So like 100%. Yeah, we'll definitely look into doing that as well, because I'm up for it. Cosmic and the Cross, I think, would be a good spin-off one to doing sci-fi stuff on here. And I'm all up for it. I love sci-fi. I love Doctor Who, I love Farscape, Stargate, Star Trek, Star Wars. I'm down for pretty much whatever. I love sci-fi stuff, and so yeah, so we'll definitely take that into consideration. A slider show. We are definitely up for that. So yeah, follow us up on social media, keep track of everything that we're doing, guys, and then also keep an eye out as well. We are in the process of opening up our merch store with some merchandise. It's going to be just basic stuff with the Comics in the Cross logo on it to begin with, over on Teespring. But yeah, anything that you want to buy from there, we greatly appreciate it. The money will go towards paying for the actual item, and money towards Comics in the Cross to keep us going. I know I'm sounding all this stuff out for money, but we're excited this stuff's up and running. But we also understand that the financial times we're in, if you do support us in any way like that, you have no idea how much we appreciate it. And to all the people who have been in the chat, who are still watching us right now, all the people who have been here since 2 o'clock when we kicked off, and have sat through all the technical issues that we've had, and all the crap that's going on, and all the quiet spots, we thank you so much. And
yeah, you guys are the real MVP.
There we go. You couldn't have sounded whiter there if you tried, son. You really.
I know.
And this is coming from a guy who's basically. This is coming from a guy who's pale blue by color, you know. And then you go out in the sun and you become white, you know.
Yeah, I actually get whiter when I get sun.
Oh, thank you, Gamer Grind. I appreciate that, guys. We appreciate it so much. So yeah, we are going to sign off. This is Nitro on the phone here.
Thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it.
And I'm Cross, and yeah, we'll definitely. Oh, thank you so much, Bat. I'm glad that you enjoyed the podcast, and yeah, we're excited. So we'll be back probably same time next Sunday at about 2:00. Hopefully with less technical issues than what we've been having. And keep an eye out on the stream. I'm probably going to try and stream some more games during the week. It's probably going to be late at night because I work till midnight. And I've just been jumping on the streaming stuff, mostly Realm Royale, and I've become massive into Destiny 2 right now. I started playing it for the first time this week, and I'm a little bit obsessed, to be honest. I don't care.
Yeah, and I'll probably I'm looking to get some new equipment, computer equipment within the next several weeks. So I might be streaming too shortly. So
yeah, so once Nitro gets up and running, we'll be getting him logged in and doing some streaming stuff as well. We might do some gaming stuff together, or he might do some stuff separate from me as well. And yeah, and one last thing, just to, I'm spamming commands. I might as well spam one more just to say goodbye. We do have a Discord that's up and running. So yeah, go ahead and join our Discord, join in the conversation over there. Keep connected with the rest of the comic clan at the Discord. And there's also sections as well asking about like what future topics you want us to talk about, what future things you want covered, what games you want us to play. And we'd love to hear back from you. Any feedback from the community is always amazing. But anyway, I think we've talked your ear off enough for one day. Thank you so much, guys. Keep an eye for this going up on YouTube. I am going to attempt to get it up there. I had a fight with YouTube earlier this week. We're not in talking terms right now. But I'm going to try and overcome it and actually get this stuff loaded up. But you guys have an amazing week. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't go out unless you have to, unless you're essential personnel. And if you are or in the medical field, we appreciate everything you're doing, guys. And thank you for joining us for this first stream. All right, but you guys take care and have a good night.